Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to do that thing we do every time a new set comes out. And I need to tell you to stop buying singles from Ruler of the Black Flame. Oh, except if you want to buy my special illustration rare Charizard, in which case you should definitely not watch the rest of this video. Wink. And come send me an offer. Because once again, ladies and gentlemen, Obsidian Flames isn't out. And that is very, very, very important to note. We're in the situation at the moment where we've had the pre-release. The pre-release has happened, or at least the first weekend of pre-releases has happened. And we haven't actually seen the full release of the set. Which means some people do actually have the cards in hand. You saw I pulled the Charizard. Hopefully, if you haven't, go check out my link in the description. Pokemon sent me a box. It was awesome. But most people don't have the hands on the cards. And this is a part where everybody gets, big FOMO. And they're like, right, I must have these cards as soon as possible. And they end up massively overpaying. And your friendly neighborhood Warsy is here to say, don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do it. We'll look at some examples, we'll look at some stuff, and I'll tell you when exactly you can actually start buying these cards. Good. So starting off then, what is going on with Charizard? What is the deal with Charizard? Surely, Wassy, surely people aren't overpaying for this Charizard. That would be silly. No, they are. And the thing is, right, when I start doing videos like this, I can just start recording and then kind of call up eBay while I'm chatting to you because I know I'm going to be proved right. Like right now, over on eBay, I go and search for Charizard, and the number is 233. So I search for Charizard EX 233, and I see that the first two listings there are one for $350 with 12 watchers and one for $300. If we extend this picture a tiny bit, we can see there is actually a third for $175 that actually has a bid on it. Somebody is bidding $175. And this is a point where people go, yeah, Wassy, but come on, that's eBay, and that bid might not go through, and, people aren't actually paying this. You're not about to show me a bunch of sold. Yes, I am, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am. There are a bunch of solds for this card. Here are 3 in a row that sold. Well, they're all best offer accepted, but they're all in the $350 mark. Well, you can't trust them. Okay, here's 3 more in a row, one of which sold for $320. So yes, it is selling. I mean, right now it's a $300 to $350 card. Now, one side note we need to go through here, and this is actually a really important piece of context that I think some people are missing. Luckily, that's what I'm here for. There are fewer special illustration rares in Obsidian Flames than there are in other sets. If we look at Scarlet and Violet, that was made up of 2 Japanese sets, Scarlet EX and Violet EX. If we look at Paldea Evolved, that was actually made up of 3 Japanese sets, Snow Hazard, Clayburst, and Triple Beat. This is made up of 1 Japanese set, Ruler of the Black Flames. What that means is this has half of the special illustration rares that we had in Scarlet and Violet, and a third of the special illustration rares that we had in Paldea Evolved. Which means it is going to be easier to pull the individual special illustration rare you're after in this set than it has been in the other Scarlet and Violet sets. So that alone should bring down the price. And look, yes, I know this is a Charizard, right? I am fully aware that this is a Charizard, and I know that the price of Charizards goes silly. That has not escaped me at all. I don't care. This is going to be easier to pull than a special illustration rare in Paldea Evolved or Scarlet and Violet. That's just easy maths at this point, all right? Or math, as you might say in America. So yeah, that's going to be easier in that regard. The other thing is that we've seen this a million times at this stage. We know that the price of these is going to drop dramatically. Yes, it's a $350 card right now, but this is very literally the worst possible time to go and buy this card. The worst possible time to go and buy this card. Because right now, as I've explained, we've got very low supply in that some people have open packs, but really not very many. And lots of people are like, oh, it's out, I need to get this as fast as possible. Now, I should just pause for a second at this stage and just say, I ain't your dad, unless you're Daisy Archie or Ruben, in which case, why are you watching this? That's a bit weird. If you want to buy this early, buy it. If you want to go and pick this up, go and pick this up. All I'm going to tell you is, as it stands at the moment, if you do so, you're getting ripped off. You are paying way more than you need to. And if you're okay with that for whatever reason, that is absolutely fine. You go ahead. I'm just warning you that right now, it's going to be a lot. I mean, let's look at the big two cards from the last sets, right? Let's look at the special illustration rare Iono that came around in Paldea Evolved. Now, as it stands, this is actually holding its price quite well at about $100. It launched at $175. It's gone as low as 101. It's now sitting at 106. So, okay, fine. It's a $100 card and it's holding at a $100 card. But it is also worth pointing out that this is still down, not quite 50%, but not far off when it was actually initially released. So, yes, fine. This is actually holding on higher than a lot of the ones we would generally expect. That doesn't actually mean it's cheap. And the one thing you've always got to remember about Iono is it's a staple supporter that you're going to see in like every deck. And that is going to keep the price of it a little bit higher. And I still don't think $100 is going to be where Iono settles. I still expect to see it fall down a bit. But Iono is like the best case scenario. Iono is one of the most popular characters we've seen in years. It is a card that is a staple in every deck. And it still fell by almost half in a couple weeks of release. That's kind of relevant. And we saw similar things, right? When this card was initially released, we looked over on eBay, and we saw very similar kind of things here. But let's go to Scarlet and Violet. Let's go to Miriam. We're going to see a very, very similar thing going on with Miriam. Now, when Miriam released, it was a ridiculously expensive card. It launched, according to TCG Player, as a $265 card. And I told you this was going to be a $50 card. And I had an awful lot of people telling me I was stupid for saying it was going to be a $50 card. It's now a $50 card. There was an in mint, a couple of them sold recently for $46. For what it's worth, I do actually think Miriam is about as low as it's going to go for a while. It is still like the top card in Scarlet and Violet. It's going to hold a little bit of value. But yeah, it's like a $50 card. Now, I know that Iono has held on at $100, but there are two things going with Iono that Miriam never had. Firstly, Iono is like an actually popular character. I am willing to bet that when we first saw the Miriam card, like 80% of people did not remember Miriam from the games. I'm calling my shot now. And it's a decent card. Like, Miriam's not a bad card. Shovel 5 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck and draw 3 cards. It's fine. But it's not Iono now, is it? It's not the same as Iono. So that's why Iono was always going to end up more expensive. But these are supporter cards. Supporter cards have held their price a lot better. What about Gardevoir? Now, I go for Gardevoir because Gardevoir has a special illustration rare, and it's a special illustration rare of an EX which was very, very playable. Still is very playable. Launched at a $120 card, it's now a $20 card. Like, TCG players put the market price at $23, but the last 3 solds were all $20. Gardevoir is still one of the top decks in the format. Worlds is coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm expecting Gardevoir to be one of the top decks at Worlds. This is the special illustration rare version of it, and this is a $20 card. And Gardevoir's a very, 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 very popular character. I feel pretty confident this is going to be the same kind of thing. I mean, heck, let's go and have a look at the Special Art Charizard V, the one that came around in Brilliant Stars. Not, unfortunately, a terribly playable card, which is a little bit sad. But it's still Charizard, it's still cool, it's still a wonderful card. And if we look at that over the past year, now I don't have longer than that, I'm afraid, which is a little bit sad. But you'll notice a steady downwards trend to, well, it says 128, but the new souls were like 120, 123, 124. So, yeah. This is a cool Charizard card. And it's about a $120 card. This Charizard is not going to be worth this much. Not even close, ladies and gentlemen. Not even close. I know we've been focusing on the Charizard a lot in this video, but it's honestly the Charizard that I've seen kind of attracting the most ridiculous bids, so to speak. Make no mistake about it, this is not a $300 card. Nowhere near. It's probably going to end up being about a $100 card, if that. Because again, remember, there are far fewer special illustration rares. That is going to bring the price down. But there are other cards. A Geeta. Somebody paid $96 for Geeta, the alternate art. Now, bearing in mind Iono, the ridiculously playable card of one of the most popular characters in the game, is a $100 card. Who's paying $100 for Geeta? Someone literally did. They're not the only one, incidentally. They're about the highest, but here's 3 solds in a row, one for 75, one for 80, one for 60. Geeta's like a $30 card. Miriam couldn't stay above $50, and Miriam was the most hyped card in the set. And don't get me wrong, I think Geeta's cool. I really like the card. Lets you grab 2 energy and attach them to one of your Pokemon, and you can't attack, but you can do something else that ends your turn. I could realistically see Geeta being a $50 card, although I think it's going to be lower than that. But I could see it being 50. No way Geeta settles above 50. Somebody paid $100 for this Geeta card. That's weird, ladies and gentlemen. That's weird. How about the gold Charizard? Surely people aren't overpaying for that. Oh, yes, they are. Here's 3 in a row, including one for $140. $140. It's not even the good Charizard. It's not even the Akiragawa special illustration rare. It's the bad Charizard. Don't get me wrong, this gold Charizard's cool. I'd be delighted if I pulled it. But it's not exactly the headline card in the set now, is it? And you don't need me to tell you that gold cards don't go that high. Let's take Chen Pao as an example. Chen Pao, very playable card. Really playable card. Seeing a huge amount of play. $10 card. Okay, fine, I will admit, Chen Pao, nowhere near as popular as Charizard, right? It is more playable, though. I do think that's actually worth pointing out. It is a more playable card. Yeah, $10 card, ladies and gentlemen. $10 card. How about Miraidon? Miraidon's a box legendary, and Miraidon is a very playable card. Surely that gold card is going to be worth, you know, a little bit, right? $7 card. My point is, when the gold cards are generally $10 or less for the good ones, why are we paying $140 for Charizard? I know there is a Charizard tax. I understand that. I've been covering this game very closely for a very long time. Completely understand the Charizard tax. But there's a limit, ladies and gentlemen. Charizard is a $40 or $50 card? Yes. $150 card? No. So look, there's just some examples. It happens every time, and I hope you guys are staying away from it. I hope that if you've got cards to sell, and if you've got cards to sell, now is the time to sell. But don't actually buy my Charizard. That would be a silly thing to do. Wait until at least 2 or 3 weeks after release, let the card stabilize, and then go and buy some of these, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to do. And I like to think when we come to these videos, we're adding a lot of context. Things like the lower amount of special illustration rares, meaning the individual ones you want being easier to pull. Not enough people are talking about that. That is where I come in. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if you've picked up any cards, which cards you're waiting for, how much you're going to spend, things of that nature. I kind of want to know anything you want to tell me, honestly. So go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Trev99, who's been a supporter for a while now, and is a very lovely person indeed. So shoutouts to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.